All right, welcome to On Main Street with Rick Amato. Today we're going to talk about accelerated mental performance. Now that just saying that gives me an endorphin rush. I don't know about you. We're about to be joined by Tim Stewart, who is the Director of Medical Training at Accelerated Mental Performance. Good to have you with us, Tim. Before we get started, I just want to say that before our interview, I got a text message from you that you're at the gym finishing exercising. That sounded like accelerated mental performance to me. I mean, I get endorphin rushes in the gym.
Well, I appreciate that. I've in the past 2 years, I've had a carotid artery cleaned out, a quadruple bypass. I had my right knee replaced, my left knee replaced, and then my right knee replaced again because it got a staph infection in it. And my gosh, if I can't get to the gym, there's nothing I can do. So my recovery, my health depends on me getting in there. But I do appreciate, and it's just director of training, not director of medical training. I was a combat medic at one point in my career, but I work with all different types of training. I work with athletes, elite athletes, professional athletes, high school, college, all the way down to the younger kids, but also with AMP. Now, I was just on a few weeks ago. We talked about combat brain training. AMP is a rebranding of combat brain training. Combat brain training designed for the Marine Corps, but some of the groups that we go to, they just have an issue with the word combat being in there, even though our training has nothing to do with combat. It's all about making better decisions in stressful environments and carry them out with confidence. And doesn't that sound like raising a teenager? Who could use it more than moms and dads or coaches who are in that environment? But we really, wherever there's a brain involved, we make life just a little bit better. And essentially, accelerated mental performance really talks about what we do, because we accelerate the performance of the brain by as much as 20 to 25% in the first 1 hour session. What that does is slows the world down around you. And when the world can slow down a little bit, now you've got time to make better decisions. And a good decision is carried out with confidence.
Wow. You know, one of the trendy words these days is the word flow.
Right?
Is this a part of that?
What we do, and many of our athletes talk about this, getting into the flow. Now, I've coached over 5,000 athletes. Athletically, I've coached over 45 years for soccer, basketball, track and field.
Oh, I love it.
Flow.
By the way, just to let you know, I just got inducted in my high school sports hall of fame for track and field this past couple months ago.
Okay.
So I got to throw that in, not because I want to get it out there, but go ahead.
So what was your event, as long as you put it out there?
I was good, not great. I ran the 2 mile and the 1 mile, not 1,500 and 3,000 meters, 2 mile, 1 mile.
Right. I ran the 440 and the 880, so
you get
I get that. But I was a state champion in 1972 and 1973 in the 2 mile relay. And that school record still stands over 51 years later. So yeah, track and field was really my love.
I had no idea.
So yeah, well, we haven't had a lot of conversations that have gone that way, but as I look back at it, I had that mental strength. I had a math teacher and coach who was way ahead of the ball game when the world's of visualization and understanding. If you think, you can become. Now what we do, and I've been a follower of Zig Ziglar. Matter of fact, I start every Monday morning with Tom Ziglar and Cindy Ziglar-Oates, his son and daughter. So the mindset stuff is great, but what we do isn't mindset. We actually train the brain to operate at a faster speed, so decisions are made quicker. We increase the flow of communication between the left and right hemispheres of the brain. All of our decisions are made emotionally, justified logically. When we can increase that speed between the decision being made, justified, and carried out, now we carry it out with confidence. This is why we work with law enforcement agencies, why we work with the military, why we work with high-level athletes. We have a quarterback up in this Canadian Football League. His name's Trevor Harris. Trevor has surpassed all of Tom Brady's statistics. He is now the leading uh, reception, whatever the statistic is, and just won the Grey Cup, which is Canada's Super Bowl.
Yeah.
And he's been with us for about 3 years, 3.5 years. He's been doing the brain training. And one of the things he says, the ability to switch more rapidly between this is what I want to do, but this is what I have to do. And just think about driving, I'm from Chicago, driving in Chicago traffic, how your brain operating a little bit better might make that commute just a little bit easier going to and from the city.
Now, Tim, this is fascinating information. I mean, I don't know anything about it, but it's a big favorite topic of mine that you're discussing right now. And let me ask you this: I'm under the impression, and I'm not a professional on this stuff, that to get the brain flowing, going quicker throughout the day, it's important to keep the metabolism going, especially first thing in the day.
Absolutely. The one of the things elders with dementia, right, or early onset dementia, a lot of it has to do with two factors. Number one of them is dehydration. Older people don't drink because they don't want to pee all day, right? And the other thing is they don't work out nearly as much, or they don't exercise as much as they used to. I saw a video interview of a gentleman who was 95 years old and in someplace in Florida. And he went running by, and the reporter says, "Hey, sir," he says, "how far are you running?" And he said, "5 miles." He said, "What did the residents say?" He said, "I'm going to kill myself." Right? But at 95, still running.
That's
I
great.
think it's important. And what our brain training does, and we've shown this, we have the tests to prove this, we increase the blood flow to the brain by as much as 20 to 25% when they're going through the brain training. So with the elders, with people who have, suffered dehydration, we're actually rehydrating the synapses, the neurons, everything that makes the brain fire the way it does. So it is, we've got the EEGs, the EKGs, the blood flow tests to support this, that we make life better in a lot of ways.
And so so if I understand you correctly, one of the things you do is help them hydrate their brains or make up for past loss of hydration?
Well, I mean, that's not the purpose. It's a kind of a result of
Hmm.
the thing they want. They want a better quality of life,
Yeah,
right? How they get there, they don't really care.
yeah.
Right. So I go to an assisted living facility up here in McHenry County, Illinois, and I have 7, 8 residents who come in, and we go through the brain training. One of them is a 92-year-old gentleman who wanted to learn how to play the piano at 92. And he was saying that this brain training isn't helping. I said, "Well, Al, are you doing it before you're doing your piano lessons?" He says, "No." And I said, "Well, bring the sheet in. Everything we do is simply off a sheet of colored arrows." And I said, "Bring it in, go over it, and then take your lesson." And a month later, when I came in, he sat down and played "Mary Had a Little Lamb" or something. It may sound silly, but
No.
this is a 92-year-old who'd never played the piano before.
That's-
So, I mean, my theme song has become "If I Only Had a Brain" by the Scarecrow, right?
Yeah.
But the good news is we all have a brain. And wouldn't it be great if we could just get it to operate a little bit quicker? If we could, instead of telling that teenager, "Because I said so," you could actually come up with an intelligent remark that they can't refute. It's it's fun. Now, we work with athletes, we work with sales teams and construction safety and safety programs. But for me, it's when I get to work with a family that's been going through some, dysfunction. And one of my speaking engagements, I said, "Does anybody here not belong to a dysfunctional family? Please raise your hand." And one lady actually raised her hand. And I said, "Now she'll probably lie about anything else too." But we all have a bit of dysfunction going on, and watching a family come together as a team building program, getting a family on the same sheet of music, getting a football team on the same page, a soccer team, a basketball team, it doesn't matter. Getting them on the same page mentally translates into success and outcomes, positive outcomes.
Well, that brings up a whole area I hadn't thought of. When I hear brain training, I think for an individual, you're talking about a team, a group, a family.
Right.
That's remarkable.
It's incredible to watch it. Uh, the the opportunity for a team who's been struggling. They have a lot of good individual athletes, but when you think back to some of the NBA teams who tried to put, get all the big names onto the same team, and the problem was there wasn't enough shots to go around, and so they weren't. A few of them won a couple of championships, but at the end of the day, there was only room for one star. And but when you get a team firing on all cylinders, when you get a team sacrificing, if you look at the 2016 Cubs, they didn't care who got the glory. They just wanted to get that goat off their back, right? And those type of teams, and that's what happens when teams go through this brain training, is they all of a sudden all get collectively on the same page, so that in the world of soccer, that gap that opens up, the passer isn't waiting for his teammate to be in the gap. He's putting the ball in the gap, and his teammate, seeing it at the same time, is running on the gap, receiving, making positive things happen.
Hmm.
But at the same time, a teenager coming home understands and has already got his homework done before mom or dad asked for it.
Right.
It's got so many applications. It's unbelievable.
What are some of the key, well, you don't have to go into deep detail, but just give us some key uh, talking points, if you will, about, say, for instance, getting a family on the same page.
Well, one of the things we do, the first thing we do is they take this sheet of arrows and they read it as fast as they can, directions only. And so it'll sound like right, left, down, up, right, left, down, up, and they do that. Then while they're racing during that period, every other session that we do is one voice. So in the room, those who are going a little bit faster, slow down a little bit. Those who are going a little bit slower, speed up a little bit.
Hmm.
Psychology says that the individual gravitates towards the norm of the group. So those operating a little faster, slow down. Those operating a little slower, speed up. And the average of the group stays the same. That's a psychological principle that's been around forever. When I do this training, what I found out is everybody gravitates towards the fastest. My women's basketball team at McHenry County, the first time we did the test, the range in time was 56 seconds to a minute and 52 seconds. So a very large range. By the time we had completed the fifth session, the range of time was 32 seconds to 35, which means the slowest had sped all the way up. But more importantly, they're all processing the game at the same speed. And we've all seen athletes who are very talented, but they just don't process as quick as somebody else. And when you can get everybody on that same page, get everybody into flow state that you just mentioned earlier, and flow state simply means that the ability matches the challenges in front of them, and time just seems to flow. That's why I call it the flow state. When you can get everybody into flow state simultaneously, crazy things happen, most of them being positive.
Amazing.
It's incredible. If you go, our website is still combatbraintraining.com.
Okay.
Very simple, combatbraintraining.com. And you go to our testimonial page and look at some of the different, areas, from athletes to military to students to MS. I was working with an autistic boy the other day I was actually working with his dad, and the boy was right next to us. And when I looked over to him, he had taken the page up and he had put it in front of his face like this. So his left eye would only see the left side of the page. His right eye would only see the right side of the page. And I looked at that, and his father and I did the training that way, and it was incredible. But I got an email from his father the next day that his son watched two movies with him and talked about the movie, and he had never done that in his entire life. He had communication. He was talking where he is normally very stoic and silent. A gentleman who's developing our AI concierge is 53 years of being dyslexic. He was dropped on his head as a child, severe ADHD, another as an outcome. And he's dealt with that his entire life. And in 4 sessions, 53 years of dyslexia is just gone. He's processing the world all of a sudden as what, in his words, I see the world like a normal human seems. Well, what is a normal human? I don't know.
Right.
But he he's processing the world in a new way for him.
Amazing.
Now he has developed an AI concierge for us that is off the charts. She's not quite ready, so I don't want to release the number yet because the final two pieces is the ability to put people into our calendar once she's answered all their questions, and sending emails out on our behalf. This, it's incredible what it's doing for us to open up. So we're having fun and we're changing the world at the same time. So
Sure
it's a
are.
blessing.
Tim, what is your web address once again, please?
Combatbraintraining.com.
Okay. This is great stuff, Tim. I'm glad we had you on. And we look forward to bringing you back and learning more and getting more detail. But I love what you're doing. Not to sound silly, it's going to sound silly. I literally, I get an endorphin rush just off of hearing you say that you work with athletes, and just that alone got me an endorphin rush, quite honestly.
Well, what might be fun, Rick, is the next time I come on, we actually take a few minutes and take you through a short session here so you can actually experience it right here and talk about what you're feeling. I have a chiropractor who's a functional neurologist who had a machine in his office he paid tens of thousands of dollars for, plus a $2,500 a month licensing fee. And once I took him through this, he got rid of the machine. He said, "This is more powerful than any machine he's ever
Remarkable.
used."
All right, we'll
So-
do that. We'll do that in upcoming session, upcoming interview.
Say that 3 times real quick. So yeah, that's it's so much fun when you see somebody, a sophomore girl off of a varsity volleyball team I coached. When I asked, "What have you noticed outside of the court?" She said that she was diagnosed with severe anxiety in 8th grade. She had been medicated and has to go to regular counseling. By the end of my 5th session with the volleyball team, now remember, she's part of we're not doing one-on-one training. We're just trying to make the volleyball team better. By the way, that volleyball team won their conference for the first time in 27 years. But at the end of the training, she said, "My anxiety is gone. The doctors have taken me off all medication, and I'm probably not going to need to go to counseling anymore." So we are rewiring the brain. We are taking life and leveling up, helping people just operate. Now, could you imagine if I could get in front of Congress with this? What we could do?
Well,
Not that we want to go.
I'm going to introduce you to someone who runs. She's called the Maha Jersey Girl.
Okay.
She was a key player in the RFK Jr. campaign, presidential campaign, and we'll see if you get in front of Congress or not from there. But yeah, I'll introduce you to her. We just interviewed her recently, in fact. All right, Tim Stewart, we have to move along, but this is all good stuff, and we thank you for joining us.
You betcha. As I always say, my name is Tim Stewart. I am Coach Papa, and I do approve this message. So enjoy the day, Rick.
The only person or group I can see against what you're saying is Big Pharma. I'm half joking there.
Oh, no, I get it, but we've had those discussions already in the past, and we've had things try to shut us down, but they can't disprove what we're doing. So.
That's right. I got to move along. We're looking forward to
See ya.
All right.